Well, hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with 40 years of Mills and Boon, and this one is Trey messed up. Oh my god, okay. It's called Secret Baby Surprise Parents. It's by Liz Fielding. I got it in the large print, fine. Doesn't matter what print. Okay, well, not small print. This one is just nuts. Here we go. Pregnant with a baby in a million. Grace McAllister thought being a surrogate for her sister would be a truly selfless act. But secretly Grace longed for the baby inside her to be her own, conceived in passion with the only man she'd ever loved, but that can never be. Josh Kingsley couldn't bear to watch the baby grow big in Grace's belly, unable to share in the magic, and wished that they were his to take care of. When tragedy struck, Josh rushed to be there for Grace and baby Posie. They were his life, his family. This book is just messed up. Okay, so Grace had a surrogate baby for her sister, Phoebe, who then, her and her husband died in a car crash. And it starts with Grace trying to get in touch with Josh to kind of let them know, but Josh is the busy businessman, and he couldn't do it until they were buried, because obviously, you know, he's a very busy businessman, you know, doing business stuff. Okay, this bit here. There was an accident, Michael, Phoebe. They were killed. For a moment he was too stunned to speak. His brother was dead. When? How? Last Sunday morning. I've been calling, leaving messages. When he didn't get back to me, I thought. No, the world was wrenched from him. He knew what she'd thought and why, but it didn't hurt any less to know that she couldn't believe him so heartless. Then she already believed that. So, Josh lost his brother Michael, and he kind of skims over that grief quite quickly, the same way, okay, that in a way that Grace kind of doesn't really sit there bawling, okay, for her sister, because there's baby Posie, okay, or Rosamond, which is baby Posie, which is her actual name, and Posie is now an orphan, okay, and they are the godparents. They're stepping as guardians for this baby, but it gets more twisted, okay, because poor baby Posie, poor baby Posie, okay, this bit here. Okay, and because the reason why I get not speaking is the fact is that many years earlier, basically Josh and Grace had like a hookup. They kind of fell for each other, and Josh was gonna propose, but it didn't work out. And then Josh married someone else, and they divorced. This bit here. He'd been too angry when she told him he was too late to stop the surrogacy, that she was already pregnant with her sister's baby. News that she had never shared with Phoebe, determined not to raise false hopes until the doctor had confirmed it. She hadn't known him, how he'd react to Posie. As a youth, a young man, he'd been adamant that he'd never have children of his own. His marriage to a girl he'd never mentioned had been so swift, so unexpected, that it seemed at times everyone had been holding their breath. Sure, the only imminent arrival baby could have prompted it, but there'd been no baby, and within a year the marriage had been over. But here comes baby Posie. Beautiful little baby Posie. And as surrogacy, this situation is so messed up, okay? So Grace agreed to be Phoebe's surrogate, okay? Carry the child, pass it over, obviously be the aunt, okay? Because obviously it's not her egg. Oh, no, it gets better. This is how it starts to transpire, okay? Because basically Grace has become the mum role, okay? She becomes the mum instead of being the aunt. And this bit here. Right. You're feeding Posie with your own milk. She sounded shocked. Instantly on the defence she asked, of course, why wouldn't I? You have to ask. Confused by his reaction, he said, apparently. He shook his head. You're expressing your own milk, putting it into a bottle and sitting down and feeding Posie with it. Do you have to explain what is wrong with that picture? Nothing wrong with it. Breast milk is the best start for a baby. Everyone knows that. In an ideal world, he replied, but I suspect that precious few surrogate mothers will stick around to play wet nurse. I'm not. As near as damn you are. You know this isn't a normal surrogacy, Josh. Really? Right. No, it's not a normal surrogacy. It gets worse. It gets absolutely worse, okay? Now, in the end, Phoebe was keeping something from her husband, Josh. They're both dead at this point, okay? Phoebe's eggs weren't viable in the end. So it gets better. Right. Right. You carried a fertilised egg for your sister. But once you completed the formalities, that's it. In law, you know more to Posie than her aunt. Nothing changes that. That's not right. Grace said. You don't understand. I didn't. It wasn't. She looked up at him. She promised Phoebe she'd never tell, but her sister would want her, expect her to do whatever it took to keep her baby. It wasn't Phoebe's eggs, Josh. It was mine. Yeah. IVF was done with her own egg and then her brother-in-law's sperm, and then she carried it and gave it to. Basically, she gave up her biological child to her sister to raise. Okay? Right. Kept Michael, the guy who's dead, in the dark about this. And it gets even more twisted. It gets even more twisted. Right. Right. Because then Joshua's this bombshell. Posie Kingsley is not my niece. He turned to Grace. She's my daughter. What? She's my daughter, our daughter. Right. Yep. Because obviously Josh, the guy who's Michael, the guy who's dead, clearly couldn't do it either. So Josh stepped in. And it was the don't tell anyone else we're doing this kind of thing. So Grace was carrying her own biological child, and the biological child of the man she truly loved, which then she gave to his brother to raise. Do you realise how screwed up that is? That is so messed up. And these two individuals, okay, were like, we're doing this. We're not going to tell each other. That no one going to know. So basically, Josh had to sit there and watch his brother raise his biological child with his sister-in-law. Then it turns out that no, it's with the woman, okay, he loved the entire time, who's now essentially taking care of this kid and become the mum. Okay? Right. Right. Basically, okay, this is when, okay, Grace goes into the, well, he doesn't want kids anyway, okay, so Posie's mine. Because no one can change their mind in the Mills and Boon, can they? No one can change their mind. Shh. He made his feelings plain. He hadn't expected or wanted this child, but then he once told her, when she found him burning photographs of his father, that he would never have children. Right, because obviously no one can change their mind in Mills and Boon, but they start bonding and getting closer. And also, okay, Grace is the, but she makes custom jewellery, okay, she's like a hippy drippy, makes custom jewellery type, okay. She runs her own business, and she does say, well, Posie's better off of me because you're too busy, you don't want kids, and you're too busy being a businessman. And that kind of attitude, okay, with women, who's going to take care of Posie? Who's going to do this? I'm like, well, many other couples can make it work, and you're just basically trying to pull away. Right. 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 And her attitude to Josh is a little bit, you start rolling your eyes, okay? She want to see what he did, just taking care of Posie. Her brain pounded out the words Josh's baby over and over. She'd been carrying Josh's baby inside her for 9 months and not known. Had given birth to Josh's baby and given her away. How could she have done that? How could she have looked at her and not seen? Yeah, how could you look at her and not seen? Right. But it's not talking about custody, okay? Who gets Posie? Who gets baby Posie? Of course, okay? And this is a bit here, okay? And you think this is when, okay, someone's going to step in and try to take custody of Posie. And it's all going to come out, okay, in the press that, no, this whole situation, which would make headlines because it's so screwed up, okay? And when Josh is talking about his mum, his grandmother, you expect her to be, okay, this terrible woman in comparison to Grace's mother, who's a bit more of a, hippie, who basically had to kind of screw up her daughter and in a lot of ways. But when you meet her, she's nice. She's pleasant. Well, there's no villain in this. Okay, there's no, I want to take custody of my grandchild because I actually have her right as a legal guardian. And then Posie would have to say, Grace would have to say, well, actually, you don't. Because your son is the biological father, the living one, and I'm her biological mother. Court case. Now that would have been an interesting twist, okay? That custody of this kid. When, if a surrogate mother relinquishes parental rights, get your clone nose back. We don't get that. Right. I have no idea what a mother would do about Posie, Grace, but you're certain that whatever it is, it'll be for her own benefit rather than a result of grandmotherly instinct belatedly kicking in. He wanted her to understand that she was going to have to fight to hold on to her baby, his parents, her mother, maybe even him. That doesn't happen. They get on fine. They get on great. What's his antagonism? It doesn't happen. Right. Grace is like, this Grace, I found Grace so pathetic in some respects, okay? She seems to think, okay, the fact is that because the house is Posie's estate, that they can just keep living there. And it doesn't work that way, sadly, okay? It doesn't work that way. Right. For 10 years, she'd been living with this fantasy world in which Josh Kingsley was her hero, the boy she'd fallen in love with. But what did she know about the man he'd become? At home, he was just Josh, but in the real world, he was a power to be reckoned with. A man who'd built an empire from nothing, who'd broken her heart when he brought home a laughing bride, and unexpectedly announced without patent emotion that the marriage had been a mistake. A man who other men treated with respect and maybe fear. A man who only saw the prize. Right, she wanted him to bond with Posie against all the other things that he had. Now, too late, she realised that it was not his mother or hers who had to fight to keep her baby, it was him. There's no antagonism, okay? It wants custody, okay, baby Posie. No one seems to care about baby Posie, okay? Right. And the fact is that I did actually respect Josh for calling his brother out on the bullshit, okay? He's put them all through, okay? Right. Right. Okay. I signed up for Michael's deal with my eyes open, but he changed the rules and I've been used. That you've been used too. I clung to those nine months, clung to it that she was born. When I ignored Michael's pleas to come and stand as her godfather. You convinced us, he said, a touch shakily. Fooled you, fooled myself. The truth, Grace, is that I knew if I saw her, I'd never be able to leave her. Let her go. I had to fought Michael for you, but even you to keep her. Are you going to fight me now? Well, I hope not. I hope just to be partners in this, not adversaries. But they talk and they talk. And they decide to get married. It's the best thing for Posie. It's the best thing for Posie, okay? That her parents live together and actually are in love, okay? Right. But then, okay, it comes to where we're going to live. And the fact is that Grace is like, oh, well, we've got to stay in London. We've got to stay in this flat in Maybridge, okay? Right. Because, but this bit here, okay, in return for your freedom, I buy Michael's house from his estate, so you and Posey can stay here. They buy the house just like that, but I haven't even think about it. And you, where will you be, Josh? When his baby was crying in the night, and she was alone, at work like any other father. I got commitments that I can't walk away from, but I spend as much time as I can in Maybridge as I can to keep the bed in the basement flat aired. Right. What happens if I tell you to take your partnership and stick it to the wall? It's just so screwed up between this couple. Right. Absolutely so screwed up between this couple, okay, but they decide to get married because it's the best thing to do. Even though, okay, the whole, and the thing is, Grace, okay, Grace is all, we've got to stay in London, we've got to stay in Maybridge, we've got to stay in this house. Josh is a multi-millionaire, Posie is a baby. Grace can work anywhere, okay, and her business, by the way, is basically one little shop, and it's the whole kind of, I build bespoke, unique jewelry for individuals. It's like, darling, you can do that from anywhere, okay? You can branch out. You married this guy, okay? You've got the support and the funds, okay, to kind of open a chain, but she's talking between individual pieces and chains, okay? And you know, sort of thinking, this guy's basically offering you something better because you sit there like, I always wanted to travel, I always wanted to see more. He's offering basically your dreams on a platter. I'd be like, no, we've got to stay in London because of my job. It's like, really, really, okay? Right, right. But I like the fact that also Josh throws it in her face, okay? About how would the courts actually look at the situation because it is so messed up. Right. There's nothing in writing, he pointed out, and the last thing Michael did was sign his will, which suggests that whatever his wife thought on the subject was actually clear in his own mind. But he didn't know the truth. Yeah, about the egg, yeah. But whose fault is that? Shook away, not his. And he was right, she didn't have a case. She embarked on a surrogate program with the sworn intention of giving her baby to her sister. Clear evidence that she had no attachment to it. And Josh could, if she chose to make a fight for it, make her look like if she was clinging to the baby, not just a free meal ticket, but for the roof over her head. And yes, and I wanted that to happen. Why didn't that happen? Why didn't we get a court case? Why didn't we get a little bit extra? But no, okay. I started talking about their dream places and getting married, and Josh's penthouse in Australia. And in the end, decided to get married. Josh has to go back to work. So Grace, with baby Posie, because she's got a passport, okay, rushed to Australia to speak to him, they have it out, and they get together and get married, and then they start embarking on their ventures. You know, sort of thinking, all this goddamn drama, I seems to be leading somewhere. okay? It's just such a screwed up situation, okay, of a woman who took her sister's egg, okay, for her baby, right? Made her sister a surrogate of that baby and then took the baby. Then a man who used his brother's sperm, okay, to create said baby. No one's talking to each other. This would have been a dynamite, an absolute dynamite proper work of fiction, like a courtroom thriller, drama kind of thing. Sadly not. These people are just morons and they're stupid, and Grace is just annoying. So, secret baby, surprise parents. In a way, I like Josh because he's way more direct, okay? But at the same time, all this drama was so been avoided if they just talked to each other. And the fact is, okay, that they both lost their sibling and they kind of glossed over that way too quickly. I mean, I don't really get on a lot of my siblings, but if I lost one of them, I'd be devastated. But it's more like having a quick little cry and then just move on. So, it is filled in, large print. I think it's a cherish. I'm a sign off. Bye now.